Have you ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted? Maybe you've experienced moments when life seemed unfair and justice felt out of reach. In those moments, it's easy to wonder where God is. Many of us have been there, facing broken promises, rejection, or betrayal. But the good news is this: even when life feels unjust, God is still working behind the scenes. And that's exactly what we'll discover today through the powerful story of Tamar. Tamar's story, hidden away in Genesis 38, is a gripping account of heartbreak, courage, and redemption. From betrayal to restoration, her journey reveals that God's purpose can prevail, even through life's most painful moments. And just like Tamar, you can discover how your story, no matter how difficult, can be transformed by God's greater plan. In the next few minutes, we'll dive deep into Tamar's journey and pull out 5 key lessons that will not only inspire you, but equip you to face challenges in your own life with hope and courage. Are you ready to see how God turns injustice into something beautiful? Tamar's story begins with hope but quickly turns into heartbreak. She married Er, Judah's eldest son, but before they could have children, Er died. This left Tamar vulnerable, without a husband, children, or security. According to custom, Er's brother Onan was supposed to marry her and provide a child to continue the family line. However, Onan deliberately refused to fulfill his duty. He took advantage of Tamar but made sure she wouldn't conceive, denying her the future she was entitled to. Onan's selfish actions angered God, and he too died. Now, Judah promised Tamar that she would marry his youngest son, Shelah, when he grew up. Tamar was left waiting, clinging to the hope that Judah would honor his word. But when the time came, Judah failed her, leaving her abandoned and hopeless in a society where marriage and children were essential for security. Tamar could have given up, but she didn't. Instead, she took bold and unconventional action. She disguised herself as a prostitute and positioned herself along the road where she knew Judah would pass. Judah, not recognizing her, approached her, and Tamar secured a pledge: his seal, cord, and staff. Through this encounter, she became pregnant, ensuring her place in Judah's family. When Judah discovered Tamar was pregnant, he condemned her, accusing her of immorality. But Tamar revealed the truth by presenting the pledge Judah had given her. Confronted with his failure, Judah admitted, "She is more righteous than I." From this unexpected and scandalous turn, Tamar gave birth to twin sons, Perez and Zerah. Her son Perez would become an ancestor of King David and ultimately of Jesus Christ. What began as betrayal and injustice ended with redemption, showing us that God can use even the most painful situations for his greater purpose. But her story isn't just about what happened long ago. It offers us profound lessons that can guide us through our own challenges today. Just like Tamar, we face moments where life feels unfair, people let us down, or hope seems out of reach. Yet, her journey teaches us how to respond with faith, wisdom, and perseverance. So now, let's dive into 5 key lessons from Tamar's story, lessons that can equip you to walk through life's difficulties with courage and purpose. 1. Pray honestly. Tamar didn't passively wait for justice. She boldly acted to reclaim what was denied to her. This teaches us the importance of being honest with God. When life feels unfair, it's tempting to bottle up emotions or hide them. But God invites us to bring our fears, frustrations, and doubts to Him. Honest prayer isn't about having the perfect words. It's about coming to God as we are. Prayer isn't just a tool for answers. It's a way to align our hearts with God. Tamar's boldness shows that honest prayer is an act of faith, keeping us connected to God even in confusion. When we open up to God, anger, fear, or frustration, we create space for His peace, experiencing reassurance even before our circumstances change. The key to staying spiritually grounded in tough moments is bringing your real emotions to God. What emotions are you holding back? Surrender them in prayer today. God is ready to meet you in your honesty. 2. Seek wise counsel. Tamar's decision to secure Judah's personal items showed great foresight and wisdom. It reminds us that, in difficult situations, we need guidance from trusted voices, mentors, friends, or spiritual leaders. God often speaks through others to offer clarity when we feel stuck. Seeking wisdom protects us from rash decisions that can lead to regret. Proverbs 11 verse 14 says, "Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors there is safety." Seeking wise counsel is an act of trust, acknowledging that we don't have to face challenges alone. God uses community and godly advice to steer us in the right direction, just as Tamar's careful strategy led her toward justice and redemption. Don't walk through life's challenges alone. Who can you turn to for wise counsel today? God has placed people in your life to guide you. Trust that their wisdom is part of His plan for your journey. 3. Stay faithful in small things. Even after being overlooked and abandoned, Tamar stayed faithful until the right time to act. This teaches us that when life feels stagnant or unfair, small acts of faith, praying, serving others, or keeping integrity, keep us aligned with God's purpose. Faithfulness in the small things builds our character, preparing us for bigger opportunities. Luke 16 verse 10 teaches, "Whoever is faithful with little will also be faithful with much." Tamar's persistence ensured she wouldn't be erased from history. Similarly, our faithfulness in small, unseen moments reveals our trust in God's timing. When we remain faithful, even without visible rewards, we position ourselves for God's future blessings and breakthroughs. Faithfulness, even in small moments, builds spiritual strength. What small step of faithfulness can you take today? Trust that each step brings you closer to God's unfolding purpose. 4. Persevere with trust. Tamar didn't give up, even after rejection and betrayal. Her perseverance reveals the importance of trusting God when life feels uncertain. Perseverance means moving forward, one step at a time, believing that God's promises will unfold, even when we don't see immediate results. Perseverance builds endurance and strengthens our faith. Tamar's story shows us that perseverance opens doors to God's greater purpose. When we persevere, we shift our trust from what we see to God's faithfulness, allowing Him to transform challenges into testimonies of His grace. Perseverance invites God's power to work through your challenges. Where do you need to keep moving forward, even when the outcome is unclear? Trust that God is with you every step of the way. 5. Trust God's redemptive power. Tamar's inclusion in the genealogy of Jesus reminds us that God can redeem even the most broken parts of our lives. Nothing is beyond His reach. What others intended for harm, God used for good. Genesis 50 verse 20. God's plan takes our failures, disappointments, and pain and transforms them into something beautiful, fitting into His grand design. The Bible reveals that God specializes in redemption. In Romans 8 verse 28, we are reminded that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him. Just as Tamar's painful experiences were not the end of her story, your current struggles are not wasted. God's redemptive power ensures that no situation is without purpose. He works through every hardship to shape your testimony and align your life with His greater plan. Even when things feel broken beyond repair, God's grace brings hope and restoration. What part of your life do you need to surrender to His redemptive power today? Believe that God can take every piece of your story, no matter how difficult, and use it for good. If you've ever felt betrayed, rejected, or forgotten, remember this: God sees you. Just like Tamar, who faced rejection and injustice, your struggles are not invisible to Him. God's timing may not always align with ours, but His plan is always good. No season of difficulty is wasted. The challenges you're facing today are shaping you for something greater. Tamar's life teaches us that even when it seems like everything is falling apart, God is still writing your story, and His story always leads to redemption. You are not defined by your setbacks or failures. Just like Tamar's rejection didn't mark the end of her story, your disappointments don't have the final say. God specializes in turning brokenness into beauty and pain into purpose. What others meant for harm, God can use for good. Genesis 50 verse 20. Whatever you are going through right now, know that God is with you. When life feels overwhelming, take heart, your story isn't over. God is working behind the scenes, preparing blessings you can't yet see. Stay faithful. Keep trusting. God's promises are still unfolding. What part of your life do you need to surrender to Him today? Believe that God can turn every challenge into a testimony of His faithfulness, just like He did with Tamar. If Tamar's story has encouraged you, know that your story can also become a testimony of God's faithfulness. But learning to trust God and persevere through life's difficulties takes intentional steps of faith. Take the next step by watching our video, Powerful Life Lessons from King David, linked on the screen and in the description. King David's life, like Tamar's, was marked by failure, rejection, and redemption. And his story offers powerful insights into how God uses every part of our journey to shape us for His purposes. Don't let discouragement or doubt define you. Keep trusting God, stay faithful, and watch how He turns every struggle into something beautiful. Your story is not over, it's just beginning.